one local church leader is looking at this disaster as a deadly example of social injustice. Pastor Danny Vance is with the Notting Hill Community Church, and he's with me now. So, Pastor Vance, what was your reaction, your first reaction, when you heard or saw the fire that broke out at the Grenfell Tower?
For me, it was a little bit of disbelief of what had happened. And then very quickly, my phone started to go with people who attend the church, who are in the community. I got down here, I walked to the tower, and it was just anger is probably the only thing I felt immediately. I've worked in tower blocks like that in southeast London in my previous job. And if you spend any time in these places, you will just see that there is a significant problem with many of these buildings. So a lot of anger felt.
And tell me about that. What are the problems with these buildings?
For one, I think there is a neglect for a lot of these buildings. They are social housing, so they are full of the poorest members of our society. They are often home to people who have just come to the country, first, second generation immigrants. They are also places where there is an awful lot of community in them, but there are issues with them, and the residents are constantly, I know this from my time in southeast London, bringing up issues with the buildings that they're in.
And what happens when these issues are brought up, when they raise concerns about the safety of these buildings?
I'm kind of the belief that influence is the ability to produce change. And often the more influence you have, you can change your surroundings. And if you don't have, sorry, the phone's just going off. The phone's just been going non-stop all through the night. People just keep wanting to give donations and how can we help, and it's just kind of non-stop. A lot of people there feel powerless, that they can't change the issues that are in the buildings there. And that seems to be a message that keeps being repeated through various news reports over here in the UK.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think that the change doesn't happen?
I mean, I'm a pastor, I'm not a politician, so I don't want to go left or right with any of these issues, but there has been I would say, a quite hard policy of austerity. That is a fact. And a lot of these issues are ignored because of the fact the most vulnerable in society are seeing things that they have relied on, and they've seen their parents relied on to provide their children a better life taken from them. I've worked in those areas, and I have seen this firsthand. And in a way, you kind of feel powerless, that you can't do anything to get out of the situation you're in. And in previous generations, the rungs on the ladder were there, and they're just not there anymore. And that's what a lot of people are feeling.
What do you think this fire will do about, some of the issues around social housing?
I would love to be really optimistic and say maybe we would get a policy of rent control in this city. I mean, it's extortionate what a lot of landlords and private landladies are able to get away with. Maybe the councils in this country, or government, will take a hard look at themselves, and they will say, we have a responsibility to protect our city. We have a responsibility to protect all people, no matter how much money you've got. And I'm kind of hoping that will be the response, but we'll see.
Let's talk about, and I know those phone calls are ringing, because as you were saying, it's people just want to keep giving and helping.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I mean, I was here till midnight nearly last night, and the door was still open, and people kept coming with donations from all over the country. The phone it just doesn't stop ringing. People offering support, offering financial support, and it has been the same for all the churches, all the kind of faith groups, community groups that are in the area. We have just been overwhelmed by the response from rich and poor in our community. From, you know, everyone from every walk of life has felt affected by this, and in some way has just wanted to do something to contribute, because there is that feeling of just utter helplessness.
And so what do you say to people, you know, when they want to help and they do feel helpless, and they're feeling sad or angry, the feelings that you have? What do you say to people to try and give them comfort?
What we've tried to do is, I mean, obviously as a church, we've tried to get around as many people as possible. We've tried to offer, you know, good counselling. I know various churches and various other groups have held kind of prayer meetings around, and these have been attended kind of by lots of people from different faiths and people who are not in any way religious. But also, what we've tried to do is tell people, just get involved, just volunteer, just try collectively to talk with one another and share how you're feeling about this. And we've seen that kind of collective camaraderie really help people feel like, I'm doing something to try and help the people who've been affected by this the most, and that is obviously the families of Grenfell Tower.
Appreciate you taking the time, and we'll let you get back to those phones. Danny,
thank you.
Danny Vance is an associate pastor at the Notting Hill Community Church.
Thank you. Thank you very much.